Alright, so we're going to talk about levels and the importance of using levels for everything, cleaning up drawings, cleaning up scans. So levels are found under Image, Adjustments, and Levels. Okay, and when we get to levels, you will notice that if I zoom in into my character, for example, this character right here, notice that when I scan this drawing, the quality of the scan wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use levels to bring in my highlights and to sharpen my darks. Levels window, this is what we call the histogram right here. So this is a graphic representation of what your image is. And as you can see right now, my image, it's a drawing. So there's a lot of white, right? And there's some black and a little bit of neutrals colors. Okay, so the black arrow will be your shadows, the gray arrow is your midtones, and the white arrow is your highlights. So as you can see right here, right, most of the information is inside of our whites, right? So if I zoom in into my character, right, you will notice that I can move my shadows to the right, right, and everything will become really, really dark. This is what we call crunching the blacks, right? So my blacks go from right here to somewhere right here. My midtones then follow from here to here, and then I have my highlights. So imagine this histogram is divided into three. Alright, so in order to clean up a scan like this, what we want to do, we want to start with the highlights. We want to move down our highlights, crunch the drawing by pushing the highlights, and you will notice now that our drawing, it's getting better and better and better, right? Now, there's going to be a limit. You don't want to go too far to the left because then you're going to pixelate, you're going to alias your image. What you're doing is you're getting rid of your midtones, and we don't want to do that. Alright, so I'm going to move my highlights halfway to where the midtones were, so somewhere around here, right? And then I'm going to bring in my blacks, okay, my shadows, but not too much. So if you look at the histogram, what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we want more of the whites and we want to make our darks darker. Okay, we have not moved our midtones. So now, once we have crushed the whites and we have reinforced our blacks, right? What we want to do is we want to play with the midtones. So the midtones have to favor either the darks, meaning that the midtones will get darker. This is what's going to look like. All right, and as you can see, by favoring the darks, what we mean is we're saying, look, the darks go from here to here, and then the midtones go from here to here, and then the highlights have this big chunk right here. So if I favored the darks, right, my shadows, my blacks, what I'm doing is like I'm moving my midtones to the right, and I'm giving our shadows more information, right? If I favor my highlights, my whites, then I would move towards the left, meaning that, hey, I want the whites to have more information than my blacks. So this is going to be the balancing game. All right, we're going to crush in the whites, and then we're going to bring in the blacks so we don't lose all the blacks, right? And then we're going to decide who are we going to favor. Are we going to favor the whites or are we going to favor the blacks? In this case, I would want to favor my whites right here. My highlight colors, in this case, the white, right? So this is how we control the image using levels, more specifically to clean a scan. I'm going to hit OK, and as you can see, our image now has been cleaned up to the point that we can use this to paint right underneath our line work, and we will get a very good result. Let me show you another example. This is a scan from a hand-inked drawing based on a blue pencil. You can see the blue pencil in the background. There's also some graphite, and this was inked by hand. It was not done digitally. And as you can see, when we use our levels, right, I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to look at my histogram right here, and I'm going to look at the information and go, okay, there's a lot of whites. The whites have a lot of information. I have a lot of blacks, but not too many midtones. So what I'm going to do, I am going to crush the whites, right? And then I'm going to bring in the blacks so I don't lose those very small lines. Okay, let me see how far I can push the whites. And then I'm going to bring in the darks. And I tend to push it to the right and then move it back, just to see it before and after. All right, and then I'm going to decide who are the midtones going to favor, the highlights or the shadows. So I'm going to move it towards the shadows. So I give more of the information to my highlights. All right, I'm going to bring in my blacks again. Go back and forth. And I'm actually really happy right here. So when I hit OK, I can do a before and after. Before and after. And as you can see, I don't lose too much information. And I end up with a very clean drawing. So this is how we use levels in Photoshop to clean up a scan.